Hi, I'm Dave Jackson. Welcome to another JPR live session where we get to know musicians we're digging and hear exclusive performances from the JPR Steve Nelson Performance Studio on the campus of Southern Oregon University. Today, joining me are Vivian Leva and Riley Calcagno, who now perform under the moniker Viv and Riley. The new release is Imaginary People. You've likely heard it recently on Open Air. Hey, guys, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks so much for having us.
And we're connecting with you on your going south on your West Coast tour, and how the show's been going so far?
They've been great. Yeah, we started in Seattle and are making our way down all the way to LA.
We've been on the road since early September supporting this new record, but they've all been really fun. We've been having a good time.
Good deal.
Home stretch.
And I, on my way into the studio today, I heard you guys on Mountain Stage. How was being on Mountain Stage? Was that your first time? Or?
Yeah, that was our first time. That was an amazing experience. It's a big production. I think we didn't even know what to expect when we walked in there.
Yeah. We recorded in Blacksburg, and there was 2,000 people there. And the night before, I had forgotten the words to the song that we were performing on the air on Mountain Stage, and I was just so scared I was going to do it in front of 2,000 people, but I didn't. So that was the biggest win.
Good for you. And you guys were in some good company on that show too. It
was really cool to be around the Hot Tuna guys and Kaya and the whole gang there. But
Mick Flannery just put out a new album that we're really liking right now too. So
Mick melted everybody's hearts, I think.
He's amazing. Got some soul. Yeah. Well, we appreciate taking time out today to play for us. What do you want to start with?
We're going to start with our only Oregon-themed number. It's called Sauvie Island.
This is Viv and Riley in a JPR live session.
Purple sky, yellow leaves, flickering screens across the street, peeling paint off old concrete. Next door band just at a beat. Dryer's broke, but we're still fine. Hanging clothes out of line. Mix some honey with some wine. Talk all night to pass the time. Sauvie Island, I'm coming for ya. It's been enough time. Sauvie Island, I'm coming for ya. You've been on my mind. Feet fall heavy down the stairs. Early morning, blue painted chairs. Smell of smoke still in our hair. Fires burning everywhere. Sauvie Island, I'm coming for ya. It's been enough time. Sauvie Island, I'm coming for ya. You've been on my mind. Don't you think it's time to go? Leave behind the things we know. Take a bridge, follow the flow. Watch the river swell and grow. Oh, Sauvie Island, I'm coming for ya. It's been enough time.
This is a JPR live session with Viv and Riley. That was a song, Savi Island. It's from their new album, Imaginary People. I want to get into the new album a little more shortly, but there's a couple of tunes on there that reference some places, that one being one, and the other, Kiger's Island, or not Kiger's Island, Kiger's Hill. What do those locations mean to you guys?
Well, Savi Island is an island kind of off of near Portland, Oregon. It's about like 45 minutes away from there. And we were living in Portland for a couple of years. I went to school there and was finishing up during the pandemic and the wildfires and some crazy times. And when we moved east after I graduated, we just were looking back on our time in Portland and the wonderful friends we had, and the Savi Island kind of was the place that we kept returning to in our minds, of just kind of the peace and beauty that we found amidst kind of some of the harder moments in that time. And then Kiger's Hill is one that I wrote about visiting my childhood home outside of Lexington, Virginia. And just the feeling of, returning to the house that you grew up in and seeing the kind of relics of your childhood, and I don't know, maybe seeing your parents in slightly new light with more appreciation and a little nostalgia, and just realizing that, it's a beautiful thing to visit, but it's kind of sad that, a place that once was so deeply your home is now kind of only partially your home. So that's what Kiger's Hill is about.
Yeah. So Riley, you were originally from the Pacific Northwest, is that right?
That's right. I'm from Seattle.
From Seattle specifically? Okay. What was growing up like for you?
It was good. It's a funny thing because I play old time Appalachian string band music, and I grew up playing that music, but in Seattle, not in Appalachia where Viv's from. I would go to square dances growing up, and went to a lot of fiddlers conventions, but it was all on the West Coast. And there's a sweet scene of acoustic musicians on the West Coast. As I start getting down this way, I think of the fiddle camps that I grew up going to with like the Claridges and Tristan Tashina Claridge. And I don't know, it's there's a lot of amazing musicians and free spirits around these on the West Coast.
We just had Tristan Claridge in here along with Hanukkah Castle just a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And Viv, you came from a musical family, is that?
I did, yes. Both my parents are great musicians, and they played in some variety of old time string bands, and then also were in a duo together, and they wrote a lot of music. So they're both songwriters. My dad mainly plays fiddle, and guitar, and then my mom plays guitar and sings, and so they were doing that a lot when I was young, and so I was definitely brought up in it through them.
And then you guys have an origin story that kind of begins with, and forgive me, this one time at band camp. Yeah. do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I had discovered Viv's parents' music on my dad's laptop in high school because he and my mom were fans of their music in the 90s. I became super obsessed with it. It was very, very, very influential. I mentioned I grew up around old time music, and it was kind of always just kind of felt like part of me, but it didn't necessarily always feel like my music in terms of like resonating like the indie rock I was listening to. And when I listened to her parents' music, it really struck a chord with me. So she and her mom were at a festival called Voice Works up in Port Townsend, Washington, and they were playing and teaching, and I was there. I went to their concert set and listened to them sing, and it was just so beautiful. And I grew up playing in an old time band, and now it's an old time band called the Onlys with my three oldest friends. We started when we were 7, but we're old friends. And the three of us and Viv spent all night jamming. We played tunes till dawn, and she later joined that band. So it was kind of this beautiful collaboration that came out of just being being born into traditional music and growing up in that scene that we all shared.
Yeah. So, Viv, you grew up in the South, and then you went to school in Portland. Was that after you guys met, or was that?
It was, yeah. I grew up in Virginia and started school in the Southeast, and then we actually both ended up taking a semester off of school to go on a tour in rural Canada, a house concert tour that we got asked to do, and we had 24 hours to decide and ask our parents to briefly leave college, which they were hesitant about, but we did it. And then after
a lot of great rock and roll and music stories start like that, but continue.
And then so after that tour, I just decided I didn't want to go back to where I was going to school. So I transferred to Portland to Lewis and Clark and finished school there. So I did 2.5 years there. Yeah.
And then you guys moved back then to, it's Durham, right?
Yes. Yeah. We live in Durham, North Carolina now.
Well, how about another song? What do you want to play?
Yeah, this one is, it's a bit of a apocalyptic song about the billionaires and space mining and the music economy, and it's called Is It All Over?
Oh boy, will my lungs give out? Will the western drought be the last of water? All but the swimming pool on the Vegas Strip by the Eiffel Tower. And when they run out of names for hurricanes, will they start over? And will the Arctic have a baseball park and a field of clover? Ooh, is it all over? Do you think they'll ship us off to the mines on Mars and make us work there? If they do, will the towns have bars and amusement stars in a Warby Parker? If there's bars in the mining towns, the bands fly up to play for the Rovers. Will it be a door deal or a guarantee, or tips and exposure? Ooh, is it all over? Ooh, is it all over? Yes, sir, I can't wait to mine for lithium in the name of prime. Yes, ma'am, if I get enough, then I'll come back and I'll make you mine. Ooh, is it all over? Ooh, is it all over?
Gotta love the dark humor. That is It All Over? The duo Viv and Riley is my guest today in a JPR live session. You can find more about them at their website, vivinriley.com, and you can find them on the socials at Viv and Riley, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, all three of those. So I really liked that line, and I'd written this down hoping you guys were going to play this. Is it, yes, sir, I can't wait to mine for lithium in the name of prime? Just, yeah. Well, tell us a little more about that song.
I mean, like we were talking about, I grew up in Seattle, and just as throughout my life, Amazon has just taken over the city and made it this, really transformed it into this kind of shiny realm that contrasts with the the inequality that leaves so many people on the streets. And that song is about climate change and a lot more than that. But I think that I couldn't resist a jab at Amazon. And thank God Jeff Bezos is fleeing to Miami.
Well, so on your previous records, they tended more towards kind of traditional Americana with kind of a country edge to them. And on Imaginary People, you have a fuller sound and some other instruments. What brought about that change? Was it a conscious decision? Was it just something you guys were messing around with? Was it?
Yeah, I think it just kind of happened naturally over the when we start writing again. We didn't write much during the pandemic, but after that, when we moved to Durham, I think we just started writing songs that were, I don't know, Riley got an electric guitar. We were writing a lot with that. I got a drum set. We were kind of doing, you
have a background as a drummer, don't you? Is that?
No. I enjoy doing it for fun, but I wouldn't say I have a background as a drummer. No, but I do own a drum kit and we play sometimes at home. But I think we just were having fun experimenting with kind of new instruments in our house. And we were writing songs that we didn't really realize were different until we went to record or started thinking about recording, and we're realizing that the songs kind of called for maybe a different perspective and different production choices than what we have leaned towards in the past. So we wanted to ask someone to work with us who had more experience in other genres of music and with other kinds of instruments and a different production perspective. And that worked out really well for us because I do think that the songs unintentionally, just are, call for a slightly more expanded production and experimentation. And the main thing is we just wanted to have a lot of fun with this new record and not worry about doing, just kind of keeping things really in any kind of box. We just wanted to say yes to trying new sounds and And
you worked with some of the crew from His Golden Messenger, and he's well represented in our CD library as well. Mm-hmm. To tell us how that helped steer your sound and getting it recorded.
Yeah, the producer of the new record is Alex Bingham, who's the bass player in His Golden Messenger.
He also plays bass on the record.
He plays bass on the record. It was we found Al through Viv's childhood friend Sam Freibush, who plays keys in Hiss. And we had never met him before when we asked him to produce our record, but we liked the sound of things that he had produced. And from our first phone call, he just had a really enthusiastic, supportive presence that it just helped us feel free to go there, to go there creatively. And I think anytime that you're being creative is it's not an easy thing. It's sometimes it comes, sometimes there's a drought, and when it comes, you don't want to tamp it down because you feel like you should be doing something else. So I think that's what we tried to do, is just follow where we were at.
And to Al's credit, it's not always easy to be creative or trust, in someone you don't know at all. And he's a great musician and also is a very caring and thoughtful person. And he's now one of our best friends, so it was a really good choice. We just lucked out, I think, with that random phone call to him. And
he just put out a new record.
That we're playing that one too.
Oh yeah, yeah, sweet. It's called
Good Grief.
Good Grief, yeah.
Under his name, Magic Al.
Yeah, fantastic record.
Yeah. Well, Vivian Leva and Riley Calcagno, also known as Viv and Riley, are my guests in this JPR live session. What do you want to wrap up with today?
I'm going to play y'all the title track off the new record. It's called Imaginary People.
I know, taking chances, stealing glances, making bets. Or is it that I've got two steady shoulders and a strong head? Who I was and who I am and who I want to be are all imaginary people just out of my reach. and put on our personalities. I'm so good at being cruel, I don't need enemies. I light a little candle in hopes of thinking clear, but then I turn the TV on to stop them getting near. There was a time I used to blame the distance between us, that giving away. You'd come running with a vision. Well, here I am just the same, wondering who I am today. I'd like to say I lie awake just thinking about us, but when it comes to sleeping, you know I won't give that up. 2,500 miles was easy to blame, but here we are, imaginary people just the same. There was a time I used to blame the distance between us, that giving away. You'd come running with a vision. Well, here I am just the same, wondering who I am today. There was a time I used to blame the distance between us, that giving away. You'd come running with a vision. There was a time I used to blame the distance, that giving away. You'd come running with a vision. Well, here I am just the same, wondering who I am today.
That's Vivian Riley with the title track to their new record, Imaginary People, in a JPR live session. You can find them as Vivian Riley on social media and check out their website, vivianriley.com. Thanks so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us. That's
Yes,
a treat.
thank you.
JPR live sessions are produced by John Griffin of Luna's End Studios. Find this and our other live sessions at ijpr.org. Our podcasts are at Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can follow us at Jefferson Public Radio on Instagram and JPR Music on Facebook. I'm Dave Jackson. Thanks again to Vivian Riley. Stick around for more Open Air in just a moment.